So when it comes down to air suspension, we usually catch a little bit of flack. People usually say it's super expensive, really not that purposeful, and at the end of the day, why would you really even want it? And you can quote me that that's the last time I'm gonna say at the end of the day, because you almost made me cry last time. Maybe it was because I was drunk. Can't call it. We're gonna be talking today about 5 reasons actually why air suspension is a good idea for the people that have bought air suspension in the past, and for the ones that want another reason to pick up air suspension. Which if you're in the market, fitmentindustries.com. Help me, I need ramen. We're gonna get right into it. I'm Alex from Fitment Industries. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell thing and everything else in between so that you can be sure to know when we're posting stuff, because that's apparently what we need you to do. We're gonna talk about reason number 1, and it is for no other reason than the fact that it looks absolutely incredible. I'm not gonna even like go around the fact or try to argue like the purpose of air suspension. At the end of the day, it looks super cool. Like that's the reason that a lot of people buy it. You can get this sweet look, sweet functionality, but overall just everything about it is awesome when you're on air suspension. I mean, coilovers are very cool, but at the end of the not doing it. But when it really coilovers have a specific function, and that is an actual function. Not a lot of people buy coilovers anymore for aesthetics. Some do just to save a couple bucks, but air suspension has a great aesthetic improvement to your car. Any car on air is gonna look a million times better. And when you go into the car shows, when you're rolling around town, when you're parked at a stop sign, whether you're actually just parked for sure and you air out, it's probably one of the best feelings in the world. It's kind of like when you unbutton your belt at the end of a long day and you just let it all hang out. You don't want to tell anybody that that's what makes you happy at 6 o'clock, but it makes you happy. And pressing that little button that gets all the air out of the bags makes you happy, even if you never admit that to anybody. And it sounds pretty fun. It's kind of like, it's like the sound of bubble wrap, if that makes any sense to any of you. So we're just gonna jump into the second reason, because I mean that the first reason is kind of bunk. The second reason is because of the actual functionality that it provides you when you're driving your car. You got speed bumps, you got things like that, you got potholes, you got driving conditions. You have a lot of times where you have more people in your car. And when you're dialing in your coilovers, you usually dial it in for like one person. And then if you had a second or a third person, a lot of times you can rub. It happens in my cars in the past, and it's happened to a lot of other people. Air suspension doesn't have that issue because it actually will just increase the pressure in each bag as needed. If you have an H system or if you have a pressure system, you can just raise it manually and you're gonna be fine. A lot of times the potholes, the speed bumps, the added people never have to be a concern, and it's perfect for big 4-door vehicles versus coilovers kind of ruining a lot of the ride quality that you would get because you're going lower, and ultimately once you get a higher performance, lower center of gravity, you're gonna feel the road more. With air suspension, when you're on the road, you're not gonna feel it as much. So it might be a little bit more expensive, but depending on the vehicle that you're putting air suspension into, it can definitely be worth it, because a lot of times when you're taking out stock suspension out of a VIP 4-door car, usually German or something otherwise, the suspension that you're taking out is already very expensive. You're taking out old air suspension systems, Airmatic, things like that, or coilovers out of the AAT or something like that, that's gonna be expensive regardless. So why not replace it with a component that is at least of equal or greater value? The third thing that you obviously have is adjustable ride height, which kind of goes into what I just said, but the adjustable ride height does so much more than just going over speed bumps and going over potholes and hanging out with your friends. Adjustable ride height is really allowing you to get a lot of the look that you want with your total wheel fitment that you wouldn't be able to get with coilovers if you're not as experienced over time. Coilovers dialing in for something like fender to lip looks or things like that without actually bashing your fender is extremely difficult, and anybody that tells you different probably has never done it, or they have fenders that are absolutely thrashed. True fender to lip is extremely difficult. Dialing in camber into perfect like mix of making things look good without making them look excessive is also extremely difficult. Air suspension essentially makes it a little bit easier, not that that's a bad thing, but it does make it easier to get that look you want overall all the time. And if you don't go super wide with your wheels and you don't look like a monster truck while you're driving down the road, you can still get a pretty decently good look with the appropriate setup on your air suspension car. The fourth reason, in case you needed any other reason that wasn't functional or practicality, because there's really not a whole lot of function or practicality to it besides, driving it. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys, honesty is the best policy, but the fact that your air trunk setups look absolutely killer. Air trunk setups are like this weird craft and awesome way to express yourself. To me, it kind of reminds me, depending on how hard you go into it, a lot of like pinstriping. When you have hard lines, when you're running a full trunk setup and you've got the double stitched interior, you got the leather pad, you got all this sort of stuff happening, you have everything kind of working together to be this overall look in your trunk, it can be extremely satisfying, and it's an art in and of itself. If anybody's ran hard lines in the past, you know how difficult it can be. A lot of times running those normal wires will ultimately be what you do because you go to run hard line and you realize how absolutely difficult it is. But hard lines, trunk setups, and everything like that, that, in my eyes, is just another variant to express yourself if that's something that you really want to do. And we talked about this in the past where coilovers have an incredible function aspect to them. But at the end, not saying it, coilovers have an essential function, but it doesn't have a lot of form besides the way that it lowers the vehicle. And a lot of times people want to slam their coilovers, which ultimately ruins their ride quality over time. With air suspension, you don't have that. And it circles back to how the overall thing feels, but also how it looks. You will notice that there's an improvement over time with air suspension versus your standard suspension. But when we really get into the mix of if coilovers or air suspension is better, that's usually pretty much up to you. And the fifth and final reason is that you have more options when it comes to wheel fitment. Because you have something that's adjustable over time, you're gonna have something that's easier to dial in, and we've talked about this in the past. When you have something that's adjustable, it allows you to accommodate for so many more things. You've done this, or you're going to do this in your life. You are going to build a car that you absolutely love, and as you build it over time, you're gonna get more and more and more specific with it until eventually you're not gonna wanna drive it, because either you're gonna break it, it doesn't handle multiple people, it's not comfortable to drive long distances, it's not reliable enough to drive long distances. I'm talking about my 280Z. I may not actually be referencing anybody else, but that is something that I've dealt with in the past, and I know a lot of other people that have also dealt with it in the past. You ultimately have this thing where when you go into building a car and you build it for one function, over time, you don't drive it as much because you can enjoy it for all the reasons that you want to enjoy it. You can only drive it for one or two reasons as to why you'd want to enjoy it. Air suspension gives you the versatility to enjoy your vehicles for more than two things. And it sounds cheesy because at the end of the day, it kind of is, but that's why a lot of people love air suspension, is because the versatility it provides you when you're driving your down the road. You can go to a car show, look good. You can drive around with friends and look good. You can have a trunk set up and feel fine. You can actually have the reliability of going over potholes and speed bumps and things like that, not crying yourself to sleep that you just smashed up your fender for the fourth time. It overall gives you that versatility, and at the end of and then what that ultimately results in is the fact that you get more wheel options. You can fit different things, you can use camber, you can use toe and adjustment, you can get everything that you want, because even if you make a mistake at some point in the mix, if your suspension is adjustable as easy as air suspension is, you'll be able to make those mistakes and keep moving forward. So those are our top 5 reasons on why we think you should probably run air suspension if you're looking to do it. Don't forget, if you need to get a kit or you're interested, check out fitmentindustries.com, and we're running 0%. As low as something or another. You can just check it out on the site. And if you're interested in our wheel giveaway for January, if it's past January, I'm sorry, we got other ones going on, but January, we're doing a giveaway with Cosmis. You can check that out in the description below. I'm Alex from Fitment Industries. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you later. Peace.